Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Anthony, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a very brief overview of the current status of the markets, as well as my plans going into the next couple of days. So overall, right now, I'm focused mainly on the QQQs, which is an ETF for the NASDAQ index. And currently, I drew some trend lines, and we do see a very steep rising wedge pattern forming over in these indexes. So I'm currently very interested in trading puts on the QQQs and as well as the SPY, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But for now, I'm focused on the triple Qs because the wave 3 of the this index, which you see here, was a really strong push upwards. So I'm expecting a decent retracement for the fourth wave. So this is why I'm trying to get in puts now. So let's get into some of the technical analysis that will be useful for determining when to enter on these puts on indexes such as the triple Qs or the SPY. So here I have my wave count, which I've worked on a lot over the past couple of weeks, and this has been the same that I've been holding for this entire time. And I want to provide some reasoning why I believe this is the appropriate wave count, although there are many other options that you could have. But this seems like the most logistic according to the rules of wave theory and what we've been seeing in terms of the markets. So over here, if we look at this increase, this is obviously a wave 1 and a wave 2 pullback, but the place where it gets difficult is we're labeling this upwards move. So right now I have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an extended fifth, a very slightly extended fifth wave upwards. And there's another alternative wave count that some people might be looking at, which I've seen across some other analysts, but I believe this is not correct. So people are labeling this kind of as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 here, and then this whole thing. It's kind of a wonky wave count. But the reason why this doesn't work is because this wave 3 isn't long enough to be a wave 3. So we have to put it up here. If we label this as the wave 3, I can actually draw the retracements here. So if we say that's a wave 3, it doesn't even come up to, it comes up to the 0.786 level of this wave 1, which means that the wave 3 in this case will be shorter than the length of wave 1, which is doesn't make any sense. You usually don't have that, and we certainly cannot have that if our wave 5 is this long, because that would make wave 3 the shortest wave, which is not possible. You can't have that. So this looks like the most appropriate wave count, and over here, this looks like a very clear subdivision of a wave 5. And so right now, we're just working on that wave 5 extension, and if I draw the extension levels to kind of find where we are in terms of finding a top, so what I'm going to do is drag it down to the bottom of wave 1, down to the end of wave 2, so over here. And now you drag this level all the way to the bottom of wave 4, which in this case would be over here. So I'm going to get some levels, and we notice that it's right around the 340 level. So we're just peaking right above this extension level right here. And this is very typical for fifth waves. You kind of peak above it, maybe push a tiny bit higher, but then fall down afterwards. So we're already at very high levels on the market in terms of wave theory. So I suspect that we're very close to the top. And that's why I'm going to slowly start trying to get into puts. And hopefully that should work out, because if we're right about this, the wave 4 retracement should come pretty harshly because there's a lot of gaps to fill as well. So that doesn't mean we're going to fill every single gap, especially probably not the ones here. These are way too far away, in my opinion. But some gaps like these, for example, are very easy to hit. These will be on the idea of bears when we do see red in the markets. So we'll go down to try to fill some of these gaps, and that's really good profit to be made from puts. So that's in terms of wave count for the triple Qs. And in terms of just not wave theory, if you don't follow wave theory too much, that's totally fine. A very simple trend line drawing can help with this analysis as well. So if you simply draw the upper trend line here connecting most of the tops and the candlestick wicks, we can see that we're trying to break above it. We're fighting against a very steep upper trend line, which is already pretty bearish, and we got to attempt to break through it, but then a close under it. And obviously, this is a rising wedge, which is already bearish in the first place. So I expect us to essentially kind of stall here and then break down over here and then kind of touch some of these resistances. And that's why I want to get into puts here, because we want to catch some of this downside on the way down. And then that will give us more capital and more profits to buy dips on this wave 4 bottom. So not only are we trying to time this wave 4, we're also trying to get capital to buy into dips for wave 5 because there's still a lot of upside to be made after we have this slight correction, if that makes sense. So that's not to worry about now because first we need to get this dip and then we can look for some more upside. But for now, I think the upside is very limited in terms of wave theory and trend lines and technical analysis. So and also in terms of fundamental analysis, we do have bank earnings coming out the early of morning tomorrow. So we'll see how the market reacts to that. I think Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, those type of banks are reporting. And since we're already so high on the markets, I think that this will be a sell the news kind of event where even if we have good news, the market is already priced this in because we've had such a meteoric rise over the past couple of days. So no matter what happens, I think that we're setting up for some slight corrections. And I want to be inputs when that happens. So that's for triple Qs. Now let's go over to SPY. So this is going to be very, very similar in terms of wave theory and just technical analysis. So like I said, for triple Qs, we have a 1, 2, and then a 3 over here. And we're trying to get into the wave 4 dip and then push up for a wave 5. And in terms of broader wave counts, this would be an entire wave 3. And then we would retrace for a larger term wave 4 and then push up for a larger wave 5 in the future. And this would end somewhere possibly in the summer, and we would then start a broader market correction, like I've stated in my past videos. But that's way in the future, a couple months, few months from now. Right now, I'm just focused on what's occurring over the next couple of days or next week or so. So just like the triple Qs, I think that puts are a great option in SPY right now because we're trying to get into this wave 4 downside. And this has been a pretty good increase over the past couple of days. So if you get into puts at the right time, this is some really good profit to be made. And this will also give you some capital to buy dips on wave 5. So in terms of the wave count for this wave 3 within this increase, so we have a 1, 2, a very clear 1, 2 here. And then this looks like a very clear 3, 4 as well, a rectangular consolidation box. And this looks like the wave 5 push that we needed. So in terms of extensions, so I'm going to take the length of wave 1 over here, and we're going to drag it down to the bottom of wave 4. And we can see that we're stalling around the 1.618 levels of extension. So this is a very typical stopping place for wave 5s. And as I showed you on the triple Qs, we were already at a stalling place for the 1-to-1 ratio. So, and right now in SPY, we're already at these very extended levels. So the 1.618 is pretty extended for a fifth wave. And typically they do not go too much further than this. So in terms of SPY, this is looking bearish as well, just in the very short term, so over the next couple of days. And like I said, with bank earnings coming out, I think that this will help catalyze that correction. And I will be there to try to cash in on that, to get some profits on that downside. So that's for these indexes. So now I want to look at the VIX as well. So this is kind of further supplementing our technical analysis from above. So we can see that we're at very strong resistance on the VIX. So if I zoom out to the daily time frame, we can see that this level of resistance that I drew here is really has a lot of touches, and it looks like we're right at that level. And as you know, when the VIX goes down, the indexes go up, and when the VIX goes up, the indexes go down. This is not always the case, but it's I would say like 80 to 90% of the time usually what happens. So we're right at the resistance, so I expect the VIX, so this is what I expect to do. So we're going to have a slight bounce, and that means a decrease or the correction in these indexes, so the triple Qs or the SPY. And we could come up to touch this resistance level right here and then bounce back down, which would make a lot of sense in terms of wave 4. So this, you would see this increase in the VIX would correspond to the wave 4 of these indexes. So in terms of just wave theory, it all makes sense if you look at the VIX. So this decrease for the wave 4 would correspond to the increase in the VIX right here. And this following decrease in the VIX to retest these support trend lines corresponds with the wave 5 in these indexes. So that's just in terms of VIX, what we're seeing right now. I don't expect us to break below this trend line anytime soon. I do expect to bounce off this level of resistance. And now finally onto the stock picks that I mentioned in a past video about the top 5 stock picks. So currently I did CRM options, and these were very profitable as we cashed in on this wave 1 upside. And I do see a slight pullback for wave 2 in terms of getting in on some dip buys. So there's a lot more upside to be made on this index. I do see a start of an impulsive wave possibly forming over here, and right now we're just starting that beginning. So I would not buy into this currently. I'm waiting on a dip, and I'm going to get in when we get that dip, especially with the corrections on the triple Qs or the NASDAQ. And so right now, if you're holding options, that's totally fine. This is definitely a really good long-term hold. But for me, I want to get in on a dip for this wave too. So that's for Salesforce. Now this is Cloudflare. So Cloudflare has been on my list in my videos for as long as I can remember. I really like this stock. And today we got some really good news, and I believe it at one point was up close to 15%. So I actually can see that right now. So we were up, 13 to 14%, yeah, up today. We gapped up a little bit and then went straight for these levels that I marked here from the past videos. So nothing has changed from my analysis. This is exactly what has been expected. I did not play any options into this because I've been focused on trading the markets. But for those of you who did end up getting into Cloudflare, that's some really good profit to be made. So congrats on that. This is really good B push upwards. I would definitely take profits at these levels because we don't know if we're in a bearish scenario yet. This looks still that we're in this wave count, this ABC correction, and we're just hitting that B wave upside. So if you are in this position, I would definitely take profits here. We could push upwards to these levels, but for now, I would definitely take this huge green candlestick of profit. In terms of NEO, so this is just an update on my top 5 stock picks from a while ago. We are still consolidating from in this consolidation position. In terms of NEO, I would not trade options on this. I did buy some stocks for NEO, but I do not plan on going very heavy into this yet. If we do see a breakout of this, that would be really nice. But for now, we're just consolidating. And so now next one is Apple. So Apple has been a really good winner for me personally and anyone in my Discord because I've been signaling Apple option plays since middle March. And so we got a really good push upwards for the wave B. This is similar to Net or Cloudflare. And so I recommend taking profits at these levels. We've hit my 1.414 price target exactly, and we closed right on it. So I would take profits at these levels. These are levels of very strong resistance. We're approaching this profit-taking level. So now finally, the last stock pick that I recommended in my past video was Tesla. And as you can see, Tesla has been absolutely crazy today and over the past week or so. So we've got really good upside on Tesla, and we're right at the 0.618 level of retracement. So I drew that simply by taking the Fibonacci retracement level from the top of this to the bottom of this. And I can actually show you how you do that. So you just drag here, drag to the bottom, and you get the same levels. So that's if you're curious on what levels we're at in Tesla. So as you know, the 0.618 level is a very strong level of resistance. So I expect us to at least have some kind of reaction, maybe a possible bounce down from it. And we could go higher, but for now, I would take profits at these levels. These are very strong resistances for any stocks because essentially you're retracing 61.8% of this downwards move. And that's already a lot. So in terms of Tesla, really good profits there, and I would recommend taking profits. So now finally, in my past video, my most recent one, I recommended Bitcoin. And actually, if we look right here, Bitcoin is doing pretty much as expected. We had a really, really good strong bounce today. And that's a huge green candle over for the D wave. So for those of you in cryptocurrency, that's really good. Really good upside right there. So I do see us pushing up to this upper trend line and then probably bouncing back down. So for now, I think this is a hold. If you're in this position, any cryptocurrency position, I do see us maybe possibly going for 67,000 around that area and then bouncing off that trend line. So for now, that's an update on Bitcoin. Everything's going pretty well. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these stock picks react over the next couple of days as we possibly see some corrections occurring on these broader market indexes. So yeah, I've been focused mostly on trading these, but for those of you who are in any of these stock picks, that's really good upside. Every single stock pick from my past video is up massively today. Especially CRM has been on an absolute tear. It's not a very, it's a very slow moving stock. So any percentage increase greater than 1% is really good, especially for option plays. So I think I've talked enough for this video. That's just going to be my update on everything and what's going on. So once again, I'm looking into puts on triple Qs and SPY, and I'll look for dip buys in any one of these stocks when we do get some dips in the future. So I'll keep you guys updated of everything that's going on, and I'll let you know all my plays that's going on in the Discord as well. So be sure to join that if you already haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.